Also with me this week is Astros. What's up, buddy?
Hi.
Hello. How how are you doing, man?
I'm fucking pissed. Let's get this going.
All right, let's get this going. So we got some feedback this week, and the feedback was so I've been listening to the podcast for a while, and I've got some things to say. This is actually on LeagueCast. Got this feedback, so this is to them, not us, and I think it's hilarious. So we're gonna read it.
Wait,
First
well,
off,
hold on. This is feedback not for us?
not for us. No. This Aiden used
Yeah,
to do ours too, so we're tight with Aiden, right?
yeah.
LeagueCast got an email into them. By the way, we don't get these emails anymore. I would love to have some more of these emails, but we
Okay.
don't really get these anymore very often. But LeagueCast got one, and we got a pseudo shout out in it. So I wanted to read it because
Oh,
Aiden forwarded it to me, and I thought it was
okay,
hilarious. So
okay.
here we go. So I've been listening for a while now, and I've got some things to say. First off, you're the best league podcast that I listen to. Again, LeagueCast, not us. All right. The other one I listen to is all right. Except sometimes I tune in and it's just a couple of older guys bullying a kid who sounds suicidal. I wonder if you can guess which podcast this is, but I don't encourage talking badly about the competition. So good on you for not doing that. That is LeagueCast. We got described as a bunch of adults bullying a suicidal kid. So, all right. So let's start off the show. Astros, how's your mental health, my man? Are you in fact
Um,
a suicidal youth?
Varies day to day.
Very day to day. All right. And you do understand that this is a safe space. Everyone here loves you, right? We know that.
I really hate being here.
All right. So we've cleared that up, and that is probably the most accurate feedback we have received on the podcast to date. So thank you for that. And by the way, no shame. I thought that was actually hilarious. It kind of made my day to read. So thank you for that. And, accurate snaps. I wonder if we can change the show's description to that.
I'm
Two
sure we
adults
can.
bullying a suicidal teen as the
I don't really think
iTunes
that'd be great for
subscription. You
publicity,
don't.
but
Okay. We kind of built a
I
we
mean, we
built a
have
reputation.
none, so any would be
Yeah,
an
we don't
improvement,
have
right?
publicity. Maybe we'll get shock comedy going on. Who knows? So anyway, guys, League of Legends. There's some issues in the game right now that I wanted to talk about, most notably in character balancing. And we
I'm
had
glad to see nothing has changed since I've been gone.
well, okay, so I want to correct some of the things that they said on the last podcast in particular because I thought
Okay,
they were way off.
okay.
So, and I would have disagreed had I have been well, had I have stayed the whole episode to be there. I just basically dropped in, got him set up, talked a little shit, made an announcement, and then that was
That's
that.
right. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
they mentioned Talon Jungle in specific and how they thought that wasn't gonna be very good. I
And
I don't think they could be more wrong. I think Talon is the kind of champion that's exceptionally difficult to ever pin down. I think he has an insane amount of burst and AD armor pin junglers have shown to be effective uh, with jungle money. Like they can
yep,
actually do the job.
yeah.
So if they can do the job, Talon has the ability to flipsy do over terrain that has got to help his clear speed, and his gank paths are insane. I don't see why that wouldn't be incredibly viable.
He's been a terror mid lane for me this entire season so far. Short lived as it is. Yeah, Talon is probably. I never want to ban him because I ban Yasuo, but my God, he just ruins my game continuously every time he's picked. It's fucking awful. So yeah, I would
But I
imagine
mean,
Talon
the other
juggler.
thing is like the thing that generally doesn't work very well about AD junglers is they have to have the wave clear,
Yeah,
and usually that can be an issue. But I would compare him most notably to Echo. You've got like a passive that stacks and does damage. You have
hmm
an AoE wave clear for jungle camps, his rake. comes out and
Yeah.
comes back in. And, he can burst big targets in camps with his Q. So I don't know that he wouldn't be all that effective. Astros, what do you think, man?
I mean, the patch is already out. He's not that effective.
You really don't think he's that good?
I don't think assassin junglers are in a super amazing spot besides Elise right now, unless you consider Lee Sin an assassin.
This is because he doesn't have the CC.
I mean, the game isn't really played around picks. It's based around objectives and skirmishes, and
He's a good skirmisher, though, right? Like he can
he's
just go in
good.
and
He's good
pop
for
two
one
people.
pick. He's good for one pick in a team fight. He's
Just
not good
one.
for in a full team fight. In a 5v5 fight, he's good for one max.
I don't see a lot of 5v fights happening early when jungle really matters. The kind of jungler he is really matters.
Well, I would say this, like understanding that if you gank successfully in bottom lane, that you get prio on the dragon, and then can convert a successful gank into priority and into map control by pushing them out or killing them.
They just get so far behind.
But it doesn't really matter because you have one gang. It's like playing Rek'Sai. You have one gank path, bottom and top. Mid, you can hop walls from either side. Bot, you can only hop 2 walls. Other than that, he's just running at you. So his gank pre-6 is actually pretty shitty unless he's ganking mid.
Well, I mean, you could still go through Tribush, jump backwards over the wall from behind them, and avoid the tower. How is that a
Yeah, but
shitty
you can
gank?
do that on Rek'Sai, and Rek'Sai has CC and does just as much damage at level 3.
Yeah, I'm not saying Rek'Sai is bad. I mean, you can do it on Zac, but those are the advantages of the champion. It's something that is fairly unique to a subset of champions that's very good in that regard.
Except for Zac and Rek'Sai both have CC, and Talon has nothing but burst. Rek'Sai, who is the worst scaler out of Zac and him, still outscales Talon in terms of jungle use because even though you're going to hit level 6 pretty early, you're going to hit it faster mid lane, and like your XP and gold is going to substantially drop off past level 9. So
So you're just basically saying that Rek'Sai is like Talon Jungle 2.0.
I just think it's better. He offers CC where Talon doesn't, and he can do the same amount of damage. Or you can go like Conqueror XI and you're a little better into the tanks and you're a little bit more of a bruiser.
How are you
I
building
mean,
Rek'Sai to do more damage? You're saying naturally kit based, or
well,
how
you can go
are you?
you can go Hail of Blades, and at level 3, your full combo, your QE to knock up to Q empowered E, which does true damage at max rage, just like 700 damage.
Okay,
And like
so
you
like,
match that with a gank and ignite, like the
so
person
what?
following up has minimal damage to do to kill.
So what you're saying is you have like the early game burst potential that like Elise has essentially, or Lee Sin has
Yeah,
in terms of damage,
I think
which
it's more than Lee Sin, similar to Elise.
okay, and Talon probably has somewhere in that neck of the woods in terms of damage.
He's very similar. He just offers no CC. And I
Okay.
mean, it's going to be like a cheese jungle pick. Like you're not going to see it in pro. I don't think any of these junglers you're really going to see in pro play.
Well, I definitely don't think you're going to see Talon in pro play, but I do think you could see Talon as a viable jungler that could tear up particularly lower elos because of just the way he functions.
Well, Talon already can terrorize lower elo. You're better off keeping him mid and you power spike harder and you can roam more freely. I mean, I think there's just so many junglers that can do the same thing he can do, but just either scale harder or do what he can do better in the jungle. Um,
Do we have any idea what his win rate is right now? Because I didn't look at any of that. I'm just
Yeah,
going
I'm looking it up right now. It looks like it's at 49%.
all right, 49% on essentially
That's
what is the
mid.
new jungle. Oh, mid?
Hold
Okay,
on.
I'm talking about jungle
Yeah.
in particular. Because, like, I'm doing this theory craft style because I didn't want to come in and disagree with them and have access to information that they didn't have when they made these statements.
he's not even on the jungle tier list.
But is there enough
Oh wait,
data?
yes he is. He's 41% with a 1% pick rank.
All right, so he's not seeing really any play. and he's
I
not
mean,
been
he's
solved, and he looks like shit.
Yep.
I mean, he's still getting
Okay.
played more than like Ivern.
Yeah, that's a high bar.
Another meta jungler, yeah.
Yeah, another choice.
Well, I mean, if you're considering meta junglers, you really only have 6 champions above a 5% play rate,
Yeah.
and 5 of them are positive win rates.
Well,
Lee Sin being the only negative.
it feels like jungle. There's definitely like a top of the mountain, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying I think talent could actually work. I don't know about Darius. I'm
I don't
not sure
disagree with
about.
you. I mean, I think he's already. I would agree with Astros in that he's pretty prime mid right now, and I just think he's a good champion early in this meta. And that if you put him jungle, it's going to have a lot of the same effects that it would have if he's mid. Because what does he do when he's mid? He just roams and gets kills, right? He barely stays in lane as it is. So yeah, if he's jungler and he's going around getting kills, like great, I think he can carry a game that way. I don't wouldn't necessarily see that he's better in the jungler than he is mid. I think that that's fair to say he's better mid right now.
Based off the stats, there's only one worse jungler right now, and that's Gnar.
Somebody's playing Nar jungle.
They buffed him to be a jungler. He was one of the champions they wanted to put in the jungle. I've seen Pazanski play it. I don't like it because your gank window is so inconsistent.
I've played against it. It was pretty trash.
Your gank window is so inconsistent because it's like there's times where you'd want to gank, but you don't have the Gnar bar to actually offer anything other than like you're slow on Q. And then there's times where like you don't want to. I mean, granted, if you're a random Gnar player trying Gnar jungle and you don't play a lot of Gnar, you don't know how to manage your bar, but I don't know. I think the best jungler out of the change is probably
Garen, right?
he has the healthiest clear.
Yeah.
His clear is really gross because you don't take damage, but I think Mordekaiser is actually a little better.
That's fair.
But I still think they're all trash. I think if you're not picking Lee Sin, Elise,
I think there's
stuff
lots
like
of
that.
viable junglers right now of different styles, but yeah, of the ones that were buffed, not so many. Like I think Yi is good. I think there's tank junglers like Zac and Sejuani are good. Not will be good next patch.
Not jungler is bad.
It's not good now.
I'm convinced it's not going to be good again. It was really problematic when they let Nautilus be a jungler.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really surprised if they let it get to that point, but I think like your top tier junglers are Lee Sin, Elise, Echo, Zac, Sejuani, J4 if you really want to play it, but I don't really think he's all that great.
Echo needs to be nerfed.
Echo, they did nerf him. They changed like one thing. It really hurt him.
Yeah, a lot.
He's only at like a 52% win right now.
I know.
So he's really struggling.
He's a fucking monster, dude. I hate that character.
Done on that struggle bus. All right, guys. So, Ornn. As something that they talked about last week that I feel like we probably need to touch on with the benefit of hindsight. Is Ornn still a monster?
I mean, he's still good, but I don't think it's like my thing with Ornn is I really hate playing against it just because like if you don't end the game early enough, then like your gold lead is irrelevant. But I don't think having good tank laners or like stuff like that is bad for the game.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I think he needs like a little bit of tuning, but I don't have any problem with Ornn being like an S tier pick right now. Like I think it's actually pretty healthy. I'm happy that
I think having strong tanks in lane is healthy. I agree.
I don't even think just in lane. Like I like that Zac and Sejuani are back. I think the Sejuani buff they gave makes her a little better in solo queue and a pickable jungler in pro play, but not making it like the best tier jungler. I think the whole Cinderhawk buff was really good. I think it helped champions like Zac. I think you can go back to playing Tankamumu now. I think it'll be okay. This might make it so Gragas can play on a tankier side build, but still be getting the extra damage from the Cinderhawk passive. I don't think it's going to be enough to bring champions like Maokai or Malphite back into the top lane, but I don't know.
One of the listeners brought up the idea of support Maokai that was valuable for a little while because you have some definite benefits like sustainability with the passive, bush checking ability, which is always valuable in bot lane, especially now that you have 3 bushes. You can use your W to dodge spells. You
Mm.
have shit tons of CC and engage with your ult and your W. What do you think of that concept? I mean, Bommies has never been an expensive item, even for support. Do you
I
think
think
that that would help him in support in terms of viability? Is it good enough to make a difference?
I don't think it's good enough to outshine like Leon and Nautilus right now. I think they're just really, really strong. I think the biggest problem for support is you're not going to go Cinderhawk or Sunfire first item because Gargoyle Stoneplate is really fucking strong on your tank supports because you get such a high influx of gold that like level 6 to level 9, if you have your item complete, you can kill the fucking jungler 1v1. Is really, really gross. I think the biggest thing holding Malphite back is his ultimate. I think it's really, really shitty.
No, I was talking
Um,
about Malphite. I'm sorry, I was talking
or
about
I meant
Maokai.
Maokai. I meant
Yeah.
Maokai. I think it's really, really bad, and the only time it's really useful is fighting around dragon and objectives like that. Other than that, like it's just so fucking easy to run away from it or
Well,
walk to the
it's
side
just
because it's so
so
fucking slow.
slow.
Yeah.
I think the second they changed his ulti, and then like once they started nerfing his numbers and stuff, it's like it doesn't matter what you do as numbers. His ulti is just shit compared to all these other champions. I think they need to just look to change his ulti, and maybe he'll be playable again. I don't know.
Or just speed it up by a little bit. Like, here's the thing. They should do like a Friends of the Forest Maokai, where he uses animals for all of his abilities, right? And like the ult is just sloths. Just slowly crawling on the ground, not really moving at any kind of
Sounds
realistic
like nightmare
speed.
fuel to me. It's just disturbing.
I don't know. I
But
think they should do something with his old ultimate, but instead of like giving him the health regen and resistances and like didn't it give lifesteal before they changed it to this root shit
I
where like
recall his old ultimate was like a damage reduction thing in a circle
yeah,
for
yeah.
everyone around him, and it made him and everybody around him essentially unkillable.
Yeah, I think they can just do something like that where it gives them like an AoE locket or some shit, like something similar to Tarkalt, but like it's more so like a locket, not so it's like a big shield in an AoE rather than because he already has enough CC. Like he has slow on his E, knockback on his Q, root on his W. Like it doesn't matter. A champion's strength isn't necessarily by how much CC it offers. CC is important, but when you only have CC, your champion's usually pretty dog shit.
I don't know, man. Everybody that's in meta right now for support is a CC monster. You have Leona and Nautilus and all that
Yeah, but they
as
have
well.
higher base damages
They do have
than
high
Right.
damage.
Maokai, and their abilities are much faster than Maokai. So like Leona ult is 10 times faster and more
Right. It's
impactful than
like, yeah.
Maokai ult. Same with Nautilus ulti. Like even though I might not do the initial knockup right away, it's guaranteed to land, and anything that is guaranteed instantly has more power than something that.
I think it'd be good if his ult followed him, kind of like Yumi. It like stuck to his character, so he could like move it sideways.
Oh, so if he W'd to somebody, the ult would.
No, as in like it would the parameters within the vine where the vines grow out forward would be kept to his champion, so he could like move and continue to zone. Like it's like a movie. It's like a skill shot that's continually adjustable, sort of. You know how
Okay, so
Yumi is,
instead
which
of
is
a fire and forget, you move and it would like slide
yeah,
sideways.
yeah,
Like Lucian's ult.
yeah.
Interesting. All right, guys.
Because I think the thing is that, like it's so slow, right? But like if you made it faster, it's also so wide it would be
It would
problematic
be,
then.
yeah, disgusting. I mean,
Yeah,
you probably could make it 5-10% faster and not cause a problem. It would just be good,
yeah.
But okay, so let's talk about something else that I wanted to
I
talk
mean, does
about.
anyone really want to see Maokai back in the game? Like
Yes,
I saw him enough in season 6 and season
tank
7.
meta's good. I think.
I
I would
think
like to.
tank meta is good. No one like I don't like. At least I can watch Ornn full combo with spellbook and do 700 damage. Like I can't watch Maokai full combo and do 700 damage.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like I
you
feel
see
like
Maokai full combo and do like 300 damage and then heal for 400 and then do 300 again next cooldown, then heal for 400 and so on and so forth.
there's
Right.
just nothing like interest. Like Ornn at least make Ornn has the horn, so he's instantly more enjoyable to watch.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Set. Since Set's release, I think it's been fair to say that that's somewhat of a problem champion in terms of his numbers and balance.
Yes. Just numbers. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think, Astros? Am I right? Am I wrong? What's the take here?
Um, I think Set's biggest problem is one, it was his passive. His healing is really, really fucking disgusting. Two, it was his ultimate, the massive slow and inability to get slowed, and then the W shield is just too big. I think you can hit um 2 out of 3 of any of those abilities, and he'll be balanceable.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I
I
also
love his
think,
kid. I think his kid is perfect, and
I
I
mean,
think thematically he's a fucking amazing champion. He's so fun.
yeah, I actually, you know what it reminds me of is Alawi. And
Yeah.
whenever Alawi was out of whack, it was gross to play against her. You never felt like you could kill her. Those numbers got tuned. I mean, there's still some
But with
issues with
Alawi,
Alawi.
even though like when her you just walked away from her ultimate, right? And then it
Mhm.
was fine. Whereas Set is like he continually is pumping out problematic stuff, right? It's like he's
Right.
always got that ultimate kind of going on. You don't want to get close to him if his numbers are tuned too high.
Mhm.
And yeah, like just adjust those and we'll be fine. I think he's really close to being great.
Yeah, I do too. Aphelios, that has kind of been a monster in the bot lane since release. It's been largely a staple of pro play. Where are we feeling? Is Riot adjusted him enough? Has anything
Uh,
happened to take Aphelios straight out of the limelight, or are we just waiting?
I mean, they made his offhand symbol appear. Like he's a little bit more readable. I mean, there's still games where it's like Fedophilios is really, really annoying to fucking play against. And it just feels like you kind of can't do anything. But I
Well,
think as a
let me
champion,
rephrase my question. After they've made his kit more clear, because that is literally what everybody bitched about, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
I can't understand what's happening with this champion. It's unclear to me when he's power spiking. I don't know what the fuck's going on, and I'm just dead. Is that issue actually resolved, or is it's resolved if you're not bad, or is it the champion has still got a power budget that is too high? Which of the three of those?
I mean, I think he's in an okay place right now.
I
I
don't think
mean,
I've played versus an Aphelios in a long time. He's been banned in almost every game.
Is that overreaction? Is he that good enough to justify that ban?
Probably not.
I don't know if it's good enough. I think it's the same thing that like Yasuo feels, where it's just frustrating to play against, so you just ban it.
Yep.
I
So I
don't. I
was
don't
playing
think
with
it's.
yeah, go ahead.
I don't think it's like super number. I don't think his numbers are super super out of whack. I think he's strong, but I don't think he's necessarily like leagues above the other like MF and stuff in the bot
The
lane.
last rounds of nerfs were pretty extensive. Like, I mean, I feel like we're headed in the right direction. I haven't really tested it out, but yeah.
So like I played with Ernie, he was playing Aphelios, and we managed to lose the game somehow. But in that game, I remember thinking to myself, man, we're behind, and it doesn't feel at all like we're behind. Like the amount of
Mm.
damage he can output. We were doing 2v2s, but down like 2 or 2+ kills, and we were either coming away with a 1 for 1 or we were coming away with like a 2 for 1.
I think a lot
And
of it depends on what guns you have. So there's like really really good guns to have in 2v2s and stuff. You want, I don't know the names of them. You want
the
your fucking,
chakram, the flamethrower, the turret.
or you want red, because like red's lifesteal is super fucking disgusting.
Mhm.
and it can really sway a fight like super easy. And the damage it does if it locks onto a champion is pretty fucking crazy. The flamethrower is good, the turrets are good, and even the root is good because it just if you have a CC support, it just layers the CC. Um, and then it just feels like people don't understand like how to fight based around him. Like they don't understand the gun's budget. So it's like you could be fighting into flamethrower and everyone's just diving him. And if Aphelios presses RQ auto, like your whole team is at like 40% HP now, like guaranteed, because you're dogpiling on a guy who's literally set up to deal as much damage as possible. AOE right in your face. I feel like people just are ignorant to the fact of what gun he actually has, and they just don't play around Aphelios's guns.
Hmm. Okay, so you've been complaining a lot about MF lately. What's your beef with Old Misfortune?
I don't actually have any. I played against her in a game before Clash where I was playing my Heimerdinger bot, and her Q just one shot my turret, so I was very upset.
Oh, is that the only
That was
reason?
the only reason. And they
You've
didn't
been
bring
for
her
like a
up.
long time. I thought you had like a good rant here.
No, I just think she's a good AD carry.
She's a good AD. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she's broken. I think she's definitely like a top tier AD, but
Yeah, because that was going to be the area I was going to come in and say I don't think she's broken at all. I just think she's good.
she's
I've seen
not broken. I
played.
just can't
I've
pick
actually been playing
Heimerdinger.
bot a little bit the past couple weeks, and maybe I'm just not as familiar with her Q, but it feels like it's been kind of hitting me when I didn't expect it to, like that second bounce. And yeah,
Oh, it's always been like that. You can be at a fucking 90-degree angle and it'll hit you.
I'm like, what the fuck,
Well, it
man?
also feels like you could be right kind of behind something and it won't hit you.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it feels super finicky.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not the most consistent ability, but
And
That's
the
fair.
thing is, like, if she hits that, like, I don't know,
Ow.
that
that's
ow,
600 damage if she has one item. So
fucking insane.
yeah,
All
I had to
right.
play Heimerdinger into it. It wasn't fun. Can't even sit in my own fucking turrets. Some bullshit.
All right, boys. So, what's going on with League that you guys are excited about? Like, I've been playing solo queue again, and I've been
I'm
climbing the
sorry.
ranks. Well, it's actually not been bad. I'm getting back to plat at a fairly decent clip. I think I'm like in the high end of gold 2 right now, just making my way downtown. I haven't been playing much
Mm.
lately in the last week or so because, life. Like, for example, tonight my kid decided it would be a good idea to shit in the bathtub. And then as I was trying to clean the shit out of the bathtub, I dropped the bleach, which knocked my phone out of my hand. My phone fell in the bathtub shit water, and now it's in two pieces as I try to uh, blow dry the shit water out of my phone.
You're not supposed to blow dry liquid out of electronics, you fucking idiot.
Why is that?
Your
I mean,
electronics have heat tolerances.
right, I'm not
And you're
using the high
spreading the
heat.
fucking water. You're spreading the fucking water.
Yeah,
Put the
into
fucking
the
phone in
air.
rice.
Phone and rice, like that shit doesn't
Dirty
work.
rice. Yes, it does.
I've done it to two
Yes,
phones.
it does. I've also baked my phone in the oven, and that worked too.
What?
I don't recommend that.
You were
But
talking about heat. That son of a bitch right there just said don't expose to heat.
And heat tolerances is a little different than spreading the water, I feel. But yeah.
Oh,
rank's
whatever.
okay. I've only watched 3 games this season on my main, and they were all due to some light inting going on. So
Light. Is
Do you feel
that like
like
light treason?
yeah, it's like yes, nice Arrested Development reference. Love it. Um I may have committed some they can't prosecute a husband and wife for the same crime.
Wink.
I'm pretty sure they can. Anyway, that being said, like I will say this. I have noticed that this season, in terms of like inting stupid ass rationale, has felt less prevalent than it did last season. Like
I
last
just
season,
I really respect these players. I respect these players. All right. So I'll tell you all three of them. So I had a Warwick top. He went 2-8. After he died like the fifth time, he decided that he was just going to defend inhib turret, even though like our tier 2 was still alive. But he was dead set on not letting our inhib turret fall, so that was good.
That is good.
Back to back games, I then had a bot lane that went 3-20, so that was cool. I did 57k damage on Echo that game, and we lost. It was really crazy. And I had a fucking Shaco top that would let 2 stacked waves crash into his tower and go take my blue buff. It was really, really fun. And then I had a Fiora that did 3,700 damage in a 30-minute game. It was pretty lit.
Wow.
That was
okay,
that was
so
against
More than
Endeavor.
1,000 damage.
That was
yeah.
against Endeavor. So yeah.
yeah,
That was against Endeavor?
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Deverett mentioned that he ended up getting paired against you in a game. He was really
Yeah.
jazzed about it. He said you
he's
were
really
7-0 until you lost.
yeah, I ended the game 10-5. I really just got juggle gaps really hard. You know, it's kind of crazy. Oh, my
So
team was so bad.
What role are you playing these days, Astros?
he's jungling.
I just duo with Dark, so I play jungle unless he really hates his matchup, and then I go mid.
Okay.
So okay, I would say though, despite those experiences, the inting prevalence has been less for me this season than it has been last.
I mean, I've had 3 more games this season than I did last season. I think it's
What,
just.
you
I mean,
didn't
it's
have
just
any
unlucky.
inting games last season? Nobody inted on you last season?
No, this was the hardest I've been inted in a while in a ranked game.
I mean, on stream at the end of last season, I had 6 out of 20 games inted.
Hmm.
So I
mean,
don't
I
know.
think just weak mental top laners, honestly.
Hmm.
Fuck, they were literally like all top laners. That's crazy.
I mean,
I'm
top's not a great spot right now. I can kind of understand
Top's
that.
in a fucking fantastic spot right now.
Really? What?
Top is in such a good spot.
Why do you
Okay.
feel this? Both of you. Why do you feel this?
It just doesn't seem very impactful. I don't have people carrying out of top lane almost ever, and people who split push top lane usually int. It's like supports were going top lane for Christ's sake, right? Like as a way to like make bot lane more effective. I feel like there was no emphasis on playing a carry top laner at all, or somebody, or even something like a Shen.
Low map priority. Dragons on the other side. Dragons super impactful.
Doesn't matter. Herald's more important than Dragon.
Herald, if well timed, but like it has such a like specific window it needs to be used in.
You trade first Dragon for Herald 100%. You're willing to trade second Dragon for Herald 100% as well.
Yeah, it just in reality, I don't see it working out in my games where we actually get anything out of that Herald. Usually, it just gets popped and then gets killed.
Well, then that's just bad placement. It doesn't mean top's a useless role. I think you look at
Well, I
like
didn't say
the
top is
leaderboard.
useless. I'm just saying top could use more influence.
Yes.
I don't think top needs any more influence, honestly. I think top is in a pretty good spot. Whippo is rank 1 in EU and has been for the past like 3 weeks. You have fucking 3 top laners in the top 4 top laners in the top 10 in NA right now. I mean, if you're discounting pros, then you have 3 top laners in the top 6 right now in NA. I mean, I think top lane's fine. I just think people don't know how to carry hard enough. You look at champions like Ornn, Aatrox, like they're super fucking strong. Set is super strong.
They just don't take over my games, and they aren't the reason I win or lose.
It doesn't mean the role's not good. I think top is in a completely fine role right now.
I know, but mid right now, a mid talent or a mid Echo can take over a game instantly.
I think Echo is pretty shit, man. I think Echo should just pretty much play jungle.
He's just a good champion. He can go anywhere he wants.
I agree. I mean, I think Echo has consistently been strong for a long time in about everything he does. So
I think the only reason people look at top as a bad role in solo queue is because top doesn't know how to impact the map because they just sit in lane.
I mean, not knowing how, if that happens to be 70% of people, then it's a low impact lane.
It's not a low impact lane if the person doesn't know what to do with their lead. I mean, You
But
can say the same
if the
thing
majority
about
of people don't know what to do with their lead, as in it's difficult for them to do so, then yeah,
being difficult and not doing it are two different things.
You know what? I'm gonna break the tie here. I agree with Astros on that. I think
I think
okay.
Pop is completely fine.
if the role has the capacity to act in a beneficial way and you're not doing that, that makes the player bad, not the role. I get your point that if or not bad, but you know, you're not up to the standard of doing things. It's like a lot of the times I used to hear from people, particularly before the last couple of seasons, that like, oh, support's so crap. You don't do anything. It's so boring. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, then you're not playing it right. Like you've got to be up in those asses as a support. Like test them cheeks, or else you're really just a spectator in your own lane, right?
Sure.
And I saw a lot of that go on, especially whenever I coach people. I'm like, why are you here? Be here. You know, you create pressure. You can do all these things, and once you figure that out, everything kind of starts clicking into place. But like, if you go to the top of the ladder and they say, wow, supports are way too powerful. They have so much abilities and so much blah, blah, blah. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you hear supports aren't good enough. I don't think that that makes it true just because the majority feels that way.
Support is a pretty different role from a solo laner, though. Like we
I mean,
expect.
sure, top is a total. That is an analogy of comparison.
No,
That's all
sure,
I'm
yeah.
saying.
I just think that like support, you can see the influence in the game that won't necessarily result in the score line, right? But like what I'm looking at top lane is I'm seeing an Ornn who's like, I don't know, 2-6, but doing really, really well in terms of providing a lot of CC to his team, helping to win fights. And I've got a Fiora who's 6-2, but not. She gets caught out and has to back every time. She tries to split push. She's not really influencing anything. But neither one is taking over the game or impacting it in a way that's like actually tipping the scale.
Right.
Instead, what we see
But
is
you
tipping.
are.
No, we are. What we're seeing tipping the scale is the fucking Talon mid who goes bot, and we have a 4-man bot, and then that wins the game from there. And then bot goes 3-20, or the other team's bot goes 3-20 and snowballs into oblivion, where they're not relevant anymore. That's where we're seeing the wins.
The problem with this comparison is you're comparing the best top laner in the game in Ornn to like one of the worst top laners in the game right now in Fiora, who has like a 49% win rate. Ornn's sitting at like a 43%.
No, I'm saying the best top laner and the worst top laner, whatever. Even if Fiora is like ahead,
You mean a
like they're
53%, right? Astros on Ornn?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said 43. I just want to make sure.
okay. Like
Okay.
I'm just saying,
Ornn?
Ornn is not like carrying from top, but Talon is carrying from mid.
Ornn
You know
has
what I
a
mean?
53% win rate, Blake.
Yeah, you just said 43.
Oh, I said 43.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like I think you mean 53. Okay, so we're good. It's 53.
Okay, yeah. And I don't think Talon is that prevalent. He's sub 50% win rate with a sub 3% play rate. I mean,
It's 49.9, but yeah.
I mean, shit.
what
like,
are you looking at?
Champion.gg.
Yeah, I have 49.22 in
I mean,
platform.
regardless, I will say like, yeah, the LeBlancs of the game, and yeah, like the mids that carry and are decisively impactful are doing more right now. But the whole like Sona Jana, Soraka garbage that's going on that I absolutely hate out of top
I
lane.
mean, it got patched. Soraka top isn't playable anymore.
Well, I mean, I understand. I'm just saying I think that was endemic of a larger problem. The fact that you could sacrifice a top laner to do anything in favor of someone who just, enables someone else to be unkillable is.
I think the
endemic of a
problem is
problem.
we're looking at having an impact on the game on 1v9ing. I think the only two roles in the game right now that are there isn't even a role in the game that's 1v9able at the moment. Mid is the closest. Mid has almost always been the strongest role. It has the most availability to impact the jungle. It has the access to access both top and bottom lane. It has the closest proximity to Dragon and Herald. It's almost always going to be the most impactful role. I think your top two most impactful roles right now are mid and support overall. If you're talking pre-15, I think you're talking mid jungle. I think the
That's
problem isn't necessarily top being weak. I think the problem is mid always being the strongest. Top is strong from the aspect of you have like the highest XP in the game next to mid. You're almost always going to be 2 to 3 levels above the bot lane and 2 to 3 levels above the enemy jungler. Once the jungle XP nerfs set in after level 6 or whatever it is now. Um, the champions that are being played top right now offer a shit ton in your team. You're playing Ornn, who has upgradable items, insane amount of CC, some of the best team fight in the world, and the inability to really get punished in lane super hard. I think that security in lane is being overlooked because he doesn't do the most damage. You have champions like Set, who can do pretty much the same thing as Ornn without the upgradable items, but changes that for having more damage and more ability to split push and 2v1. I think Aatrox is another champion that is pretty good top. If we're talking pro play, you also have Gangplank. He has global pressure with his ultimate. I don't think it's necessarily top being a weak role, but if you're going to compare any role to mid, every role is going to feel inferior.
Okay, that's a fair point.
I think we're in a super balanced state in role wise. I think the only roles that could use a little bit of help right now is AD carry, and that's just by taking a little bit of agency away from the support and giving it back to the AD. And then the next role I'd even consider it is buffing jungle a little later and taking a little bit more power away early. But I think jungle is in a pretty okay spot since the XP changes in the last patch.
That's actually, I think, pretty well reasoned for the
Yeah.
most part. I will say though, and in agreement a lot with what you said, I think we are in a meta where I think jungle matters a lot right
Jungle
now.
matters a lot super early. Pre 15
Right.
jungle is super important. And it was even worse before that, where it was like pre 10 jungle matters a lot, where you get level 3 and you gank, or you might not even get level 3 before you gank. You might just buff into gank. And the only reason for that is clearing your camps was fucking useless. The jungle changes at the start of season 10 made it so your camps came up faster, but they gave you an extreme decrease in XP after level like 4 or 5. It was really, really bad. So you'd have junglers who could have like 170 CS who are level like 11 in the game, and their supports on level with you. And I think that's super unhealthy for the game because you trap junglers into only being able to play level 1 to 3 junglers like Jarvan, Lisa, and Elise, Rek'Sai. And you saw that a lot in pro play. You saw that a lot. You also saw Olaf come in. It was just super unhealthy.
I mean,
Recently, you're starting to see a little bit more open up in the jungle, and I think it's a lot better. Uh, but I mean, jungle's always been a super impactful role because it can be anywhere on the map.
yeah. I mean, I guess my biggest bitch about jungle right now is that because of the EXP difference and what they did bot lane, like I predicted this when they announced the EXP changes that the jungler's just gonna live a lane, right? Because we're all pushed behind and everybody's going to roam bot lane because they put a bigger target on our back for being much lower level. Like we're more susceptible to TP ganks, we're more susceptible to roaming, and we're more susceptible to jungle pressure with low level, right?
Yeah.
Because the amount of gold cannot be understated for the act of just leveling up, like how much that actually gives you.
Yeah.
And I feel like the cool aspect of bot lane was always the 2v2. I thought that that's kind of the part of it that made it appealing for me is like let's do a doubles fight and see how well we do. And now it feels like I'm constantly holding back and not pulling the trigger because I just expect the jungler to be there. Or I
Yeah.
expect the mid to be there because it like what you said, you're winning games through 4-man bot. And it feels like that. Like it feels like I'm constantly being interfered with or harassed. And I don't know that that's super healthy either, but I also don't know that it's not. I feel like I may be a little bit too close to this to have objectivity. You know what I mean? Because I dislike it, right? And I don't want to be like, oh, well, my personal opinion should totally sway the state of the discussion. So this is why I'm asking you guys. Zill, you've played support a lot lately, and Astros, you're a jungler. What are your thoughts on that little mini rant?
Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first.
I think it's not necessarily bot being weak. So if you look at like the champions playing mid, you're seeing a lot of not Oriana, LeBlanc, uh, stuff that could roam, get out of lane pretty fast. Even like
For sure.
Rumble, yeah, you can push your wave and you can impact the map. Uh, and you look at the champions top, you're looking at Orange, Set, Aatrox. These champions are pretty hard to fucking gank. Like they're pretty hard to fucking kill. Um, as a jungler, I find myself playing around mid a lot. This might be partially because I duo with my fucking mid laner, and he ints if I don't come to his lane. So, I have to babysit him. And then having access to Herald and Dragon from both aspects, I think is just more important. I'll always be willing to trade Herald for Dragon because the influx of gold gives me more priority than a single Dragon buff because my objective is to end the game as quick as possible because my champion isn't useful in a 40-minute game or a 50-minute game. Like jungle's pretty shit if it goes that far. So I'll almost always choose the influx of gold over the really, really small dragon buff. The reason I think you find so much pressure going bottom is it's because top is so hard to fucking gank unless they're like way out of position and like way shoved up. Like the gank's got to be really free to be able to kill these meta tops. And meta supports are Leona, Nautilus, like these tanky pick supports. So if you have one of those on your team, you have quote unquote guaranteed CC. You and your mid laner have good burst. Like
There's no
I used to play
reason not to be there. Yeah.
like you play for Herald. If you get Herald, the next play, if the team isn't willing to trade Dragon or they're not in a position where they can trade Dragon, well, now your next priority is Dragon. Or if you can't contest the Herald, then you're forced to play around the Dragon because you don't want to just give Herald and do nothing. So I think the reason like bot is so targeted is because one, there's more people there. Your support should have guaranteed CC, and the AD carry is squishy, so the mid jungle can kill him pretty easily.
Mm.
And top is so hard. Top is so hard to gank.
All right, Zill.
I mean, I largely agree with that assessment. Yeah, bot is easier to gank. I also feel like bot's really snowbally right now. Like once you get somebody a lead, it's really easy for them to keep it.
Well, I mean,
Um,
to be fair though, that's always been the case with bot lane. If in a 2v2, if somebody gets ahead, shit goes bonkers real quick.
yeah, um, and mid laners are just roaming more than anything right now, like more than they ever have. So those like 4-man bots can happen 2 or 3 times in a lane phase. And yeah, you get stuff out of it. I don't know. I don't play that style of mid laner, and I play supports that are not Leona and Nautilus, so I'm having a really shitty time right now. But yeah, like it is the case, and I've got to figure out a way to deal with it. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's rough for me because like I've been in kind of a like I've been in a rut in terms of playing cerebral supports like Thresh. I have not been successful at all because I can't get people to follow up on the things that I do.
Mhm.
So it's very difficult for me to carry with somebody who I actually have carry potential on, like Thresh. So instead, I've been kind of forced into going boom boom mage supports, and I've been playing a lot of Brand to
Yeah, but
reasonable
how's Brand
success.
into the Nautilus and Leona?
Brand is fucking D tier right now
Yeah, I know.
into that.
As in, I've tried it too. It's
Yeah,
not fun.
I mean, it's not great, but the reality is all those kind of boom boom supports are D tier, but I've got a 60 or so percent win rate or something with Brand. 60,
Yeah.
65. And so in the D tier, that's not too bad. But at the same time, like, fuck, man, like, D tier is not where you want to be.
No, it doesn't feel
But
good.
tank meta, utility ADCs, like all these things kind of make, or even burst ADCs kind of make brand or mage supports less appealing. And with all the meta champions that were just identified, those would be very difficult to deal with as a boom boom mage support.
Yeah.
So I think that like the door is gradually closing on that playstyle in favor of tank playmakers. But
Yeah.
then I feel like I can set up plays all day, but I feel like I'm a passive bystander in my own lane,
Yeah.
which is fucked up because you shouldn't feel that way with like Nautilus.
Yeah.
You shouldn't feel that way with a Thresh, but God, you will be damned if it doesn't feel that way.
I mean, I think support's in like a fine spot. I think the biggest problem with support
Oh
right
no,
now is
don't get me wrong. I think it's in a fine spot. I don't think that spot is a great design spot for me to climb out of gold with ease. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I think you just play Senna.
Yeah, you may be right.
I mean,
Actually,
my biggest gripe with support right now is that Yumi is seeing play again, and
oh god, I fucking hate that stupid cat.
yeah, I really don't enjoy playing against Yumi. But not even so much. I don't think I've played against it once, but I'm really tired of watching it in LCS, and I think I've only seen like 3 games of it. So it's
Maybe
just a
that's what I
really,
should play.
really
What,
cancer
Yumi?
champion.
It is kind of your annoying
I
style
know.
that
Yeah.
you can literally never get hit,
I
and
haven't touched
so
it because I feel like it's like you're doing coke one time,
I was
right?
gonna say I feel like it
It's
would be like heroin for you.
or heroin one
Yeah,
time. It's like one of those things where like I know if I do that once, I'm gonna want to do it a lot.
yeah, Black Tar Yumi.
Yeah, and that's just not a good spot for me in my life right now, and
You'll
where I'm
probably end
at in
up
the
playing like Smite Yumi mid or some dumb shit. Like don't even have a partner, just sitting out
yeah,
there being a cat, shooting cues.
yeah.
Fucking
No,
ridiculous.
that's what we do not like. Yeah, if I do that, remove me from this podcast,
No
please.
problem. Will do. That or like I'll see you play like Ivern mid or something. That's the only place that guy I'll ever see play.
I've heard support though, you know.
If you okay, so I actually did that for a while. I was playing Ivern support and Ponderous played Ringar ADC.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
That actually works. Like
That was
There's a
a
stupidly
reason
so.
why you have a push mechanic.
that was a
Yeah,
boosting strat in Korea at the start of the season.
yeah.
This season? Nice. We figured that shit out last season. We're setting the trends for Korean boosters. You heard it here.
Fucking C9's bot lane played it, I believe,
When?
Yeah.
when they were playing solo queue in Korea.
Oh, solo queue in Korea. I thought you meant like this split. I was like, I didn't see that game, and I've watched all C9 shit.
Yeah, they just pick Senna every game and win because they're
Oh,
the
by
only
the
team
way,
who knows how to play it.
pro tip: if you all want the LCS rewards, you can literally set the stream to 2 times playback and just watch through the whole game in half the time on VODs.
Here we go, just ruining the LCS integrity.
I'm just saying, for all of our 12 listeners, I don't think they're going to make even a blip in their stats. But yeah, there's a 2 times
Crazy.
playback. You can just let that go, and you'll get credit for watching the game about 30 minutes in. So, our gift to you, listeners, get them rewards. So there you have it. All right, man. We're a little bit early of an hour, but I feel like this is a good place to stop. We got started late. Feels appropriate. We'll have
Did
a.
you play Clash?
Did I play Clash? Oh fuck. Yeah, I owe everybody an apology on that one. So like I had it in my mind that it was at the end of February, thinking that it was this weekend, and it was last weekend. I had already committed to an all-day Saturday birthday party for my buddy who just turned 37. We went out to like play golf at 9 a.m. Then after golf, we went to a magic shop and played magic for like 5, 6 hours. And after that, we went to a local brewery and sat there for like several hours and played board games and shit at a brewery, right? Super great day, but also happened to be on the same day as Clash.
Well, you just
And
gotta get an EU West account. You can play this weekend.
Yeah. I
oh
also signed up
well,
for Clash. but it was my birthday party that I had planned 3 months prior that happened to come around on that same day. So I also had to find a sub for
Yeah,
myself.
but you
For
bailed
fun.
like the day before. I bailed the day of because they're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you showing up for Clash?" And I'm like,
I gave him about 5 days warning. I said, this
"Yeah."
is probably not going to
I
happen.
gave them
So
about 5 minutes warning, and
uh,
they're like, "Oh, you showing up for Clash?" I was
I
like,
know because they texted me and they were like, hey, I know you said you can't play because it's your
"Oh,
birthday,
oh
but
shit."
Blake just bailed. Can you please come help us? And I said, I will be there. I told them I will be there if you don't find another sub. And then they did.
Yeah.
So
So the long and the short is they went into the like general League of Legends Discord. Just Riot's League of Legends Discord. Went in
oh
there.
my God, they're desperate.
Yeah, picked up a rando
Jesus.
from there and played the guy who actually came into the podcast Discord and I talked to him. Uh he was actually a pretty cool guy.
All
Like
right.
I was like, all right, this guy seems to work. He was very professional. He was on top of his shit. He had analysis and shit between games. I was like, yeah, it's just like as if I was there, only more productive.
All right.
So,
Who is this guy? Give me a shout out.
oh fuck, I don't remember his name. New Blake. That's what
New
I
Blake.
called him.
Okay. All right. Thought
Yeah,
that was Endeavorite, but you know.
so no, less cool Blake was there.
Okay.
And but no, the guy was actually pretty legit. Seemed cool. They actually got second place the first day, so that was great. But yeah, no, I felt terrible because I thought they were asking me to show up to class practice, and I was like, oh, I can't practice tonight. I've got you know this
Birthday
birthday party
obligation.
to go to, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, what? And
What are you talking about?
it was like a series of panic texts from Ernie that's like, hey, oh God, Blake.
I
Blake,
could actually like hear his voice. Yeah.
where are you? Clash is starting soon. Where the fuck are you? And I'm like, oh, fuck. I was like, I fucked up. The good news is the brewery we went to was like completely out of service, and they caught me right before I crusted into the out of service area. Otherwise, I would have just went radio silence and felt like
Oh,
triple bad.
yeah. Okay.
So, anyway, yeah, I almost dicked over the entire podcast, but instead I only dicked over like, well, they did well, so I guess I can't complain. Astros, how'd you do in Clash?
We won one game.
Who'd you play with?
My normal team.
Hmm.
Dark, Pizanski, Ranger. And we had Ash this time. I played 80 carry.
Oh yeah?
I'm not an 80 carry.
I was gonna say I've never seen you do that before. How'd it go?
Dude, I swear to God, after the first game, I thought we were all going pro. Like, we just played the game so fucking well. And then every single other game after that, we just hard ran it down. I don't know.
How'd you do with Ashley? How's she looking these days?
I only wanted to kill her like 3 times.
Okay, that's a step up.
Like in champion select, we picked Ezreal and we're playing into a Philios Thresh, and I said we can't fight them in lane. So level 2 comes around.
That's
We're
my
like
girl.
we're like halfway. No, it's not like we hit level 2 early and she all in right away. We're like halfway to level 3 in the middle of a wave, and then she all ins and we just die. And I'm
Yep.
just like, I said we can't fight. And then I proceeded to just mute my mic the rest of the game because I was tilted. So
She basically is exactly where I left her off then, still fighting in minion waves at level 2.
I mean, other than I don't know,
War never changes.
it was just a very tilt-filled clash.
Oh, cool.
My team clashes a lot mentally, and it might be because
Yeah,
of
no
me.
shit. You guys have like 3 Astros on the same team. It doesn't surprise me.
Dark isn't an Astro. He just is like,
I'm raising a skeptical eyebrow at you. It's this one, the one on the right here. That's my
yeah, but
skeptical
like,
eyebrow.
okay, so the team dynamic last clash was we just ignore bottom, which was Pizanski and Ash. But the only problem is Pizanski only plays Draven and Kaisa, and these are champions that like need attention bot lane. And I can't facilitate the attention bot lane because then Dark will in. So we told bot lane that they need to just sit there and take the dick as much as they can. And it didn't work for a team. We did not win many games. So then this time we were like, all right, we'll put Astros bottom and he'll just play Ezreal every game or like Heimerdinger every game. And he won't bitch and ask for ganks 24/7. The only
Right.
problem is we paired that with Ashley, who plays Leona Thresh.
Right, with the dagger in her teeth.
And like, I'm just sitting there trying to scale, and she doesn't want to scale.
No, she
Like,
wants to murder.
I think the only reason we went so well game one is I'm pretty sure we like triple killed them in the beginning of the game.
Yeah. I mean,
Actually, I'm almost
Ashley's
certain.
like my Vader, and I am the Emperor to her Vader. So she learned. She learned from the best about wanting to murder the fuck out of everyone in this game. You can't turn that off. You can't teach a panther how to lick birds. That's a bad analogy.
That was a very interesting analogy. Yeah, I got first blood at 0 minutes. Yeah, we killed two of them in the first minute of the game, and like we just won that game because I was playing Caitlyn the first game, so I actually had a champion that we could play aggro on lane with. But then we just draft lanes that didn't have an aggro lane, and then we lost. I think we just we got outdrafted every game because we have people who only are willing to play like two champions, and I'm off-rolled, so I'm only really proficient on Ezreal.
Yeah. All right.
I hate Clash. It's very tilting.
Well, boys, I think we'll wrap it there. I actually love Clash. It's one of my favorite things to do when I'm
I
not.
don't think I'll ever. I don't think I'll ever win Clash. I don't think I've ever won more than one game.
Oh man, the original Lola team kicked the fuck out of Clash.
It's true.
Yeah, and then the second day I came and played, and we won the first game, and then everyone fucking inted me. I always play
I
super
don't
well.
recall it that way. I don't know.
I swear to God, I always play so fucking well the first day. The first day of Clash, I just smurf, like 100%. I'm faker, and then every other time I play Clash, like every other game after that, I just hard run it down. Apparently,
Okay. Well,
it's quite bullshit.
We are going to wrap it up this week. And in doing so, I want to shout out to one of the Patreon supporters of the podcast that's supporting us. So they should get some kind of recognition for doing so. So let me find the list here and pick one completely at random. Jesus, it is so hard to do this on the Patreon website. Let's see, February.
Let's go. I have to pee.
All right. I'm going to pick a random guy. Stop.
Not that
Tyler
one.
Wright. Thank you, Tyler, for supporting the podcast. I really appreciate you. And this episode 265 goes out to your ass, Tyler, because you're a fucking winner. So
We can't
thank
call
you,
him a
buddy.
winner. He has the same name as me. We're gonna have to pick the next person.
Okay, Matt Doherty. Congratulations. No, I'm just kidding. This one goes out to Tyler. Next week, Matt. Next week.
Fuck
Matt
you, Tyler.
Isn't that Jitsos?
I don't know, man. It's Matt Doherty. Is it Jinsos?
Jinsos
Never
is
mind.
a
Matt
bitch.
Doherty gets no shout outs
I
from me.
was gonna say, no, you did give Jitsos a shout out.
No, we got a bunch of
That'd be too big.
I got a bunch of people I recognize on here. By the way, just a pro tip for all of you Patreon supporters, check to see if your credit card was declined. Jesus Christ, we are losing so much in declined credit cards. That is rough.
Yeah,
So,
be an adult about your finances. It's okay. Just fix it.
yeah, please help us out because declined credit cards are a real kick in the nuts for us here. We'd
Give
like
me
to keep
money. I
providing
need
you guys with stuff.
tattoos. I need to pay for college.
Well, right now the Patreon's at like $170, which is low for our usual. It still covers our bills, so we'll still keep producing. But yeah, I'd like to shoot that up. And if we get to the number that we were shooting for, what was the magic number, Astros, for the Lola ass tattoo?
There is no number because there's
No,
no
there was a
tattoo.
number.
There's
Move
no
should-
tattoo going on my ass.
Was it like 400? I think it was
It's not
400.
going on my ass. We agree. I said it's not going on my ass, and you said, well, it's not going anywhere else. And I
Ass
said, well, then I
samples.
guess it's not getting tattoo.
Right. Well, I'm just saying that way if you quit the podcast, you can just grow out your ass hair and it'll cover.
This is where the
No one
abuse.
You act like I actively shaved the hair
You're
on my
abusing a
fucking butt.
suicidal teenager.
Oh, is this is how we
This is-
got that moniker
yeah, that's
right
how
here?
we got
This is
that.
what we're
Yeah,
doing?
That's exactly
Well,
right.
okay. Well,
I'm
regardless,
not gonna. I'm only a teenager for like another 3 months.
work it
Two-
into your sleeve.
2
That's
months.
what you do. You work it into your sleeve. You get a Lola made out of like skulls or something.
Only one sleeve is black and gray, and there's not even any skulls on it yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You throw some skulls
Well,
on there.
no, that's
How do you
what's
have
going.
tattoos
that's
and no
what's going
skulls?
here. That's
It's
what's
like you're-
going here.
It's like you're not even. Do you have a motorcycle on there? Like a chick riding a motorcycle?
I got Thresh.
Is
Nice.
Thrush riding a motorcycle? That should be your
No.
next tattoo. Thrush on a
I
motorcycle.
can't. I already have a Thresh tattoo, and then a collie's up here.
Okay.
And then there's a
Rek'Sai
Native
riding a
American.
motorcycle.
I don't play Rek'Sai, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm just saying, anything like Rek'Sai,
I only get shit
swimsuit,
tattooed on my
motorcycle.
body permanently of champions that I like.
It's the Rek'Sai tattoo on your ass, but he's tunneling out of your ass hole.
That's actually brilliant.
It's perfect.
I don't know where the other end of that tunnel comes out.
Oh, we know where it comes out.
I'm gonna go
Nice.
fucking kill myself.
And that right there. Now we've done it. That's it. We're ending the podcast right here. Thank you guys for your support. In particular, thank you, Patreon supporter that we declared the podcast in the honor of. I appreciate you. You're the man. Thank you for your support. We're gonna pick a new person every week and go from there. Good night, everybody.
night.
All right, recording is done. And stream is out. Good night, stream.
Fuck you.